top with all these things I got. Only way I know because the work don't stop. Going up these levels, but there ain't no top. I've been there, I've done it, it's never enough.
The wheel may have been around since the dawn of civilization, but it has always undergone change and modification. Wood was the primary material used for millennia, but different cultures and generations experimented with the best shapes and configurations for that wood. Later, metal started to be introduced as a way to reinforce wheels until, relatively recently in the grand scheme of time, it completely replaced wood as the material of choice. With the invention of automobiles, it was discovered that encasing metal wheels in rings of rubber improved performance. Imagine that. While we don't know how long metal and rubber will remain the materials of choice for wheels, be it another 100 or another 1,000 years, the last century has shown that there's enough innovation to be had just in those materials, let alone in the vehicles themselves. And tire stores have had to keep up on both fronts. TJ White, general manager of Tire Source in Fairlawn, Ohio, doesn't want his stores to fall behind as the automotive industry innovates, and he's got some ideas on how to make sure they can stay ahead. How would you sum up the state of the tire industry in one sentence?
I think the state of the tire industry is stagnant.
Okay, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. Well, I really think that there's just, it's not necessarily a good or bad thing. I just think currently there's no big movers or shakers. There's nothing that's, no any major events or anything that are going on, super recently. And I just think that everything's just kind of flowing status quo at the moment.
Okay. So then what do you think the tire industry is doing right, and then what could it be doing better to perhaps get out of that stagnancy?
Well, the industry as a whole, I would put it more of, I think that the things that we're doing good are coming up with, there's a lot of different vehicles being made, a lot of different types of vehicles, and I think the industry is doing a good job of having product for those, coming up with new brand or new models per se of tires, parts, etc., to be able to repair some of these vehicles. Some of the cons, or I guess what they could do better. I think the industry in a whole, we have all these tools that we have available to us, like smart inspections, your point of sale system, your accounting system, your payment system. Being able, most importantly, the way that you sell tires and service to the customer. And I think that all of those things are great, except it doesn't exist as a package. There's no one system that does it all, which makes it difficult because we're making sure that this can integrate with that and this can integrate with that. And in 2024, you just feel like we're some of the other industries are so technologically advanced in all areas, and I think that's where us as an industry lack of. We just don't have that, the next level of essentially point of sale system, operating system, inventory system that is, both, lucrative to work with, but also it does justice benefits for the customer and makes it a more seamless process. It's never nothing's extremely smooth yet. So I think that's where we need to.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting that you say that, because I actually have a bit of history in the car wash side of the business, and several years ago they kind of like what you said there, everything was segmented, your POS systems, your tunnel systems, all this sort of stuff. And then companies, some of the manufacturers of these systems started bringing all of the solutions into one package. They're like, oh, we are going to become the one-stop shop for all your needs, your equipment, your chemicals, your POS systems, your, technology solutions, all of that. And that has really seemed to take off. I mean, it's convenient for, the business owners, because it is a one-stop shop, and it makes that easy. But then, as you said, just having everything already integrated instead of having to worry about, well, is this system of mine going to talk to this one? So yeah, I could see how that would be very helpful in this industry.
Yeah, and it's something that I think we might be headed in the right direction, but that would be leaps and bounds for us to take us to the next level.
Okay, very interesting. So now, what are you actively doing to change your field for the better?
I think I'll talk as we here from Tire Source's perspective. What I think that we do is it all comes down to educating the customer. We try and do our best to give them the most accurate information. We try and be as transparent as possible, and we try and have the knowledge and information from our associates to give to them. We have the smart inspections. You get a 100-point inspection when you get your vehicle serviced, and basically we're able to show you exactly what needs attention, what may need attention, and we really don't like to have per se salesmen. We like to have guys that go up and explain to the customer, here's what we think you may need. Here we can inform you about it. We'll tell you anything you need to know, and make some suggestions. Something you need to do now, something you need to do down the road, or something do at your convenience. And I think that's really beneficial. You build trust and so on with that, and I think that is what we're trying to do to kind of, no one likes to spend money on their car. I think everyone is clear on that, and I think that at this point that we try and make that part as easy as possible.
So speaking of what customers are buying for their cars, have you noticed any trends in, say, tire sizes or tread patterns that seem to be becoming more popular with customers? Is it different at all by store, or is it kind of even across the whole group there?
We do see some differences between the stores, but for the most part, it's probably fairly consistent. Obviously, wheels, tires are getting bigger. That's obviously a trend that is going on, which is making things. You got to change your whole tire rim and how you rack tires and different things. So there's definitely some effects on that are more than just having the equipment to do them. And then the trends right now is a lot of the electric tires, that are electric vehicle tires that are heavier and need to have different compounds and such. So I would say that's more of the trend thing that's going on right now.
So speaking of that, what are your thoughts on the move towards hybrids and electric vehicles, and what does that mean for tire shops?
Well, we're embracing it. I mean, I know that it is, it's already here a little bit. I would say that I did learn at a recent Goodyear Customer Connect meeting that the electric car is still, as far as the entire car park out there, it's still a very small percentage, but I don't know if electric will be the win-all. It could be hydrogen, it could be something, it could just be, but the bottom line is I think that we're going to continue to evolve no matter what the cars are powered by. They're still going to have tires, and they're still going to have suspension parts, and they're going to need maintenance, and Tire Source is going to evolve as vehicles continue to evolve.
Okay. And so speaking of evolving, you mentioned earlier that you guys have recently built a warehouse for Tire Source. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? What was the decision behind that, and how is that going to help Tire Source?
So yeah, we recently acquired a warehouse. We've been looking for some time. It's just with all of all the different tires and all the sizes and brands, it is just hard to stock in each individual store, which we still do carry tires at each location. But now we just kind of have an overflow warehouse currently, which is, it is just stocking our stores, but we're able to get in some bulk orders or take in quite a few tires at one time, and it doesn't shut down production at one of the stores when we do that, and it's able to kind of keep overflow and keep on hand what people need, and we're able to get it out to them quicker. So it's definitely it's a new process for us, but it's going very well so far.
Okay, excellent. Well, I guess so. Speaking of like shutting down production here, how do you think the tire industry needs to handle the technician shortage, or just the automotive repair industry in general? I know, this is a big issue. Have you guys had any issues with that, or?
I would say we've had a few issues at the higher level technicians, as far as in some areas, someone who's extremely qualified to do diagnostics and basically do everything. But with that being said, I think the first step in helping with the technician shortage is kind of explaining to, I guess, the general public, the students going into high school students that are looking to make career decisions, that I don't think a technician is viewed as, maybe, because it's a lot different now than it used to be. You're not just, might be viewed as a dirty job, where it's not so much anymore. In fact, a lot of it, most of it's cerebral now, where you're on a computer or you're reading diagrams and different things. Now you're still going to turn a wrench and do brakes, and there is still mechanical stuff, obviously, and that's not going to go away anytime soon. But I just think it's a more lucrative position than a lot of people would realize. And with today's technology and the being able to work on the vehicles, it can be lucrative pay-wise as well. You can make a very good living being a technician if you can do almost everything. It's very beneficial.
Okay. So how are you keeping Tire Source up to date with new technology?
Well, we have done, starting with the shops, and there we've got the most up-to-date equipment as far as tire changers, balancers, scan tools, TPMS tools, trying to keep everything as up to date as we can, to work on some of the lower profile tire sizes and wheels. You have to have those tools. And then company-wide, connecting, we've recently updated our phone system, which allows you to take calls on your cell phone as well as your phone, lets you get around a little bit more. We also upgraded our payment systems, where you can Apple Pay and Touch to Pay. We can send pay links so customers can pick up their vehicles after hour but still pay and get their receipt. And just communication-wise, we've set up programs where a lot of the stuff we're texting customers and they're texting us, so we can, if you're at home working or you're at work working and you aren't able to answer the phone, but you can shoot a text back. It saves us time, and just communicating with the customers we've gotten a lot better at. And the final thing is our smart inspections, which we use, and it really helps twofold. I mean, it helps with the technician being able to make sure he never misses anything on a vehicle, because there's certain areas they're forced to check to complete the inspection, as well as having pictures and videos to show the customers and being able to send them off. So if they're not sitting in the store and we need to show them something, we're able to send it right over to them, and they can make a decision with that information.
So you've put a lot of investment into your Tire Source stores, obviously, and you've got 6 locations as well as this warehouse. What do you see in the future for Tire Source? Are you going to continue to grow? Do you feel happy with where you guys are? What's that look like?
Well, we're going to continue to grow, and which path that'll be, I'm not sure. We don't like to jump at opportunities unless we feel like it's really a good fit for us. But we'll either continue to grow internally, we'll continue to make our stores better, we'll continue to get the tools and the information needed to do that, as well as, if the right opportunity comes, we're always open to expanding as far as new locations in different areas as well.
Okay. And so, jumping off that, what does the future of the tire industry as a whole look like to you? What do you see for that?
Well, I guess, electric cars, hydrogen cars, different types of vehicles. I don't know where it's going to take us. I think the gas or the ICE, internal combustion engines are still going to be around for a while. Not to say they're staying forever or not, but I think that like I said before, with however it evolves, we will evolve with it. But 5 years ago, if I told you what it was going to look like today, I don't think I would have picked how it looks now. So it's an ever-changing industry, and I don't think cars are going to be flying anytime soon, but I do think we're going to continue to see some major changes throughout the industry.
Okay. Well, good to know that, we're still going to be on the ground and needing tires for the foreseeable future here. With the rise of electric vehicles, there's come a need for new tire designs to meet the needs of these vehicles. Certain tire manufacturers have said all of their tires are EV ready, and then others are saying that no, only specific lines are for EVs. How are customers reacting to this? Do they, or even just the maintenance needs of EVs and the different tires they need? Are they confused by any of this? Are they angry by anything that's happening? What have you been seeing?
Well, I think that some of the customers that their first run of their electric vehicle, that they've come in for tire replacement, or they've come in maybe for something else, and we've told them they need tire replacement earlier. I think that tires are wearing quicker overall. The vehicles are heavier. They have more torque. They're putting more pressure and more. They're beating up the tires a little bit more than a standard vehicle would. So in some cases, obviously the manufacturers are trying to combat that a little bit. I think they're creating tires that are going to fit the EVs better. The customer concerns are range, and so they're rolling resistance in the tires and the compound of being able to withstand the force a little bit more and the torque and last a little bit longer. So we're all learning it together. We do have some guys that are very good and very versed in that, and they're able to really explain to the customers the benefits of going from one tire to another tire, and being able to provide the best fit on the vehicle.
They say the only thing constant in life is change. But that's actually a welcome thought for TJ White. The automotive repair industry is a fast-paced learning environment with constant evolution. That can get overwhelming for anyone, and it's tempting to just ignore it and keep doing things the way you've always done them. But TJ's goal is to fight against the forces of stagnancy, to drive new business and keep Tire Source going long enough to hopefully pass it on to a third generation of the White family. It's this willingness to look ahead and embrace change that makes TJ a vehicle care rock star.
My world keeps shifting like the sand when I try to hold on. It all just slips away, and I pile my expectations. But winds of change come in and blow them down.